What's up, everybody? It is the Best Spot Kids Move, and I am back with a video. And today I'm talking about the Xbox Game Showcase, which is next week, next Sunday. And I haven't talked much about it since the announcement because the temperature around Xbox is very different nowadays. The fanboy, the general hype that you get, which generally comes from core fan bases, the console owners, the subscribers, and everything. You get that, and that if you guys have been living under a rock, that has been like extremely depleted. So to me, it doesn't feel the same. The hype level isn't there as it once was. Not to say there's nothing to be excited about, because I will say and said many times, this year for Xbox, for what they delivered since pretty much the second half of 2024. They've been delivering bangers among bangers. The games have been amazing. Indiana Jones, Avowed, South of Midnight, the Ninja Gaiden, Two Black, and then they got the Ninja Gaiden later this year. Having Clear Obscure and Game Pass Day One, Atom Fall. There's a lot going on Xbox. Actually, I think all of my game consumption in 2025 so far has been on Xbox. And typically, for I think the only game, not Doom, I forgot, only game that wasn't on Game Pass that I've played this year. There was only one game that's not in Game Pass that I played this year, and that was Assassin's Creed Shadows. I haven't finished it, still got to do that, but I did play it on Xbox. But yeah, so now obviously outside of the stuff that they put out for Game Pass and the stuff they put out for Xbox, they've been blessing PlayStation because Sony has been too rich to put out any content for the PlayStation 5 on its own from its first party studios. Haven't been delivering anything because they've been crowned king, and their consumers buy it regardless of them producing or not. Xbox has released a ton of games for PlayStation this year. They had Forza Horizon 5. I think I know Gears is coming out in August. I think Age of Mythology or something like that, I think, came out. Age of Empires might have came out. I can't think of the other games, and then obviously the games, the natural games that launch multi-plat. Indiana Jones have come out, and PlayStation is getting Hellblade 2 this summer. So there's a lot going on in the state of for Xbox. So, and that's the reason why this summer showcase. So I think this year's summer showcase should actually be their biggest, considering their audience should be larger. You know what I mean? Their core fan base probably got smaller, but their consumer base got larger. So PlayStation fans will be tuning in, I think, for the first time, not hating, and just more so something to expect to get on their platform since Sony isn't delivering. And Nintendo fans, even the Nintendo would have just come out, the Switch 2 would just come out. So it's going to be a very exciting time, and it will be a good spot for them to tune in. So I expect them to tune into the showcase, and then obviously PC gamers and whatnot. So this should be like an overall, like, a showcase that all gamers should be able to tune in and enjoy. So it also makes it hard to predict because it's like almost like whatever they announce, they're gonna announce some great games, some awesome games, but it's going to be bittersweet, and it's going to be like that for like the next year or two. And I say that because some of the Xbox fan base has not gotten over this hard switch up that Xbox done. That's kind of really betrayed the core fan base, and they did that, for a taste of being an EA, for a taste of being an Activision, a taste of being an Ubisoft, and just really being everywhere and being able to sell to PlayStation customers. So I don't know what to expect. I don't know if there's anything that makes me generally excited. You know what I mean? And when I say that, it sucks because my I thought, my most anticipated game that was supposed to come this year was, Fable. That got delayed, and depending on how far that got delayed, I don't expect it to be at the Xbox Game Showcase. What I do expect to be there, I expect Gears of War E-Day to be there. I think Gears of War E-Day should probably open the showcase, honestly. And I do think it gets a release date. I don't think it's coming this year. I think it falls in line with the 20th anniversary of Gears 1, so make that fall of 2026. And I think they'll be probably bold enough to give us actually a release date for sometime next year. They'll probably tell us 11/11/26 or 11/6/26 or something like that. Sounds about right, right? Um, I think that I think Elder Scrolls shows up. The Oblivion remake done a lot of hype. I do think it's time to give us a formal reveal. I know the old Bethesda shows these games typically the year they launch in, but they broke that rule with Starfield and then the original announcement of Elder Scrolls 6. But I do think we get something for the next Elder Scrolls, and if it's not Elder Scrolls, maybe it's the Fallout 3 remake. Since that doesn't seem like a hard game to make, considering they're using the same skulls and bones and it's just remade or remastered or reskinned in UE5. Maybe they'll be able to show off Fallout 3 to ride the hype of the Fallout TV series. I As much as I would love for something Halo related to be there, I don't think we get that. If we do, it's probably going to be something legacy related. The crazy thing is, a lot of Xbox had a lot of stuff and a lot of announcement that happened literally that could have fell in the showcase. The Gears of War announcement was a random announcement, could have happened in the showcase. When you consider that Gears Ultimate Edition was a showcase announcement in 2015. Rare Replay was a showcase announcement. And we already got this Activision retro thing in Game Pass. Tony Hawk's was a pre-showcase announcement, and it comes out after the showcase, so we probably won't see that. We know that the showcase, the direct after, is the Outer Worlds 2, but the problem with that is sort of been spoiled because IGN first had an Outer Worlds 2, like IGN first. So for the month of, I think, April, we saw Outer Worlds 2 like gameplay. So I don't know how much more they can show us. The thing is, this is one of those showcases we do know we need to hear from. We do need to hear from Contraband and Everwild, because those are some of the oldest games that have been announced for next generation that haven't gotten an update. Project Mara, Clockwork Revolution, those games show up amazing. State of Decay 3, if those games show up, amazing. They get release dates. I think everything we see this year at this year's showcase will be targeting next year, for sure. Next year or sometime in 2027. I think some of the biggest things that people are expecting is the Final Fantasy. And at this point, fuck Square Enix. I don't really like. I don't think in 2025 a Final Fantasy 7 remake or rebirth or whatever, or Final Fantasy freaking 16 announcement to Xbox matters to me anymore. They waited too long. It's irrelevant. They waited till Xbox is a shell of what it could have been. So nobody cares. I mean, it's not going to be worth a thing unless you're launching in Game Pass anyway. If they're not launching in Game Pass, the best they can do is make it a play anywhere title. But I know people are anticipating that. I don't think that's worthy of a showcase announcement. The game is old as shit, is old as dirt, and it's not even the best RPG available on the Xbox now. So that would just be Square Enix finally getting from, finally delivering like a regular fucking publisher. And I'm sorry to be very blunt about it, but I think the sight and the thought of Square Enix kind of pisses me off as an Xbox fan because they're corny. But the thing is that Xbox can really announce anything. The thing is that going into these showcases, we used to go. You gotta think about it. Let's go back like 10 years. PlayStation fans, Xbox fans, and Nintendo fans, we would gang up on our computer screens and we'll get on like YouTube streams and we will watch each showcase and we'll rate them, we'll grade them, we'll compare them, and we'll pretty much and say who's the winner. We typically follow our brand and go and we'll hype up whatever the exclusive is. The thing is, there's no more exclusives, and Xbox is just a multi-platform publisher. So I think, again, overall, the showcase is going to be successful. I think people will be happy. because there's not like, oh, this isn't. It's just like if you're just happy for, if you're a subscriber to Game Pass, you'll be happy. If you have an Xbox, you'll be happy. But if you're, gaming on PlayStation and PlayStation ain't dropping shit, you got Xbox who actually is dropping bangers and revealing bangers, and I think that's going to be pretty good. The only thing is the hype isn't there. So the thing is, I'm not sure what I'm looking for or what to anticipate because Xbox has shown a lot. They've been dominating the showcase things. Last year was probably one of the greatest showcases of all time. And my thing is what's left. And the thing that makes me think this one's not going to be as great, because you got to think about some of the factors, right? You got some of the surprise stuff that got announced outside of the showcase. You got Xbox, raising the price of their consoles. It's now more expensive than the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro in some cases. I'm not sure how they allow that to happen, but they're not even like stocking Xboxes at the rate that they used to. You also got to consider the fact that their direct game is Outer Worlds 2, and no slight to Outer Worlds 2. Outer Worlds 2 is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to the Outer Worlds 2, but it's not Call of Duty. It's not Fable. It's not Halo. So it's kind of like a B tier game that's getting that. And so that leads me to believe that this may be like a lukewarm show. I think it will be well appreciated because nobody's locked out. You know what I mean? This is not like an Xbox exclusive showcase. You know what I mean? This is pretty much an industry showcase at this point. But I don't know because you got to think about if they don't show us the what we expect to see, that I think that's going to be a knock against it. But I don't know. I don't know if Xbox can very surprise me. I'm looking for, I guess what I'm looking for this showcase, what I'm expecting from the showcase, what I personally want as an Xbox fan from the showcase, I want Xbox to excite me. I want Xbox to do something to wipe the betrayal out of my mind. I want Xbox to make me forget about what they're doing with the showcase and show me games that I can't just turn away. Like, for example, I'm gonna tell you this, and this has really nothing to do with Xbox, but I thought gaming was in such a shitty state, right? And even though I played a lot of decent games this year, and most of them were produced by Xbox, when I was playing Clear Obscure Expedition 33, anything that bothered me about gaming, I wasn't bothered anymore. I was just in a trance with that video game. You know what I mean? For example, last year's Xbox Game Showcase, which happened, shortly after after their business update, when the whole doom and gloom of Xbox going third party, Phil Spencer, just 4 games, liar, announcement. But when they dropped that showcase, I kind of didn't care about any of that no more at that point because they were showing bangers after bangers after bangers. Now, mind you, that was still off the heels of just 4 games. So a lot of those games that they were showing, we thought were exclusives, but they're not. So now going into this year, after everything has transpired, it's like, okay, well, they're going to show us a bunch of great games and that's that. But I don't know if it's going to hold the hype. So I don't have that prediction. I don't know what the rumors are. I haven't been following them. But I do expect to see Gears E-Day, and I do expect it to open up. I do expect to see Everwild. I do expect to see Contraband. I do expect to see Clockwork Revolution. I want to see Project Mara. I would love to see Forza Horizon 6, but it's like, how possible is that? They're really going to release Forza Horizon 6 before they release Fable? Like, even though it's been 4 years, you know what I mean? It's literally been 4 years. Or do they announce Forza Horizon 6 and shorten their sales potential on the PS5 because they just launched Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation? Do they dedicate time to Nintendo's newly released hardware? Like, I don't know what to expect from Xbox. They're not having a Fan Fest event this year, and I suspect they were having that because I felt they were afraid that they were going to announce something at this showcase that's going to make Xbox fans want to beat the shit out of Phil Spencer if he was in their presence. But I'm not so sure. But That's my thoughts on Xbox Game Showcase. I look forward to watching it. I will actually probably live stream my reaction to it for the first time. I typically watch with either the Iron Lords or maybe Weapon Will, but I might do a Dolo watch stream because, hey, that's what it is, man. Shout out to OBSBOT, proud ambassador, Kiss Move, Best Bot. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.